Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has been taken into custody by Pakistan's paramilitary forces. Imran Khan was taken into custody from a court premises in Islamabad on Monday in a corruption case. Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, says Imran Khan had been abducted from inside the court by rangers. The party has given an immediate call for staging protests in the country. The Islamabad police said that a state of emergency has been imposed in the capital city. It also rejected the PTI's allegations that people were tortured, adding that police had encircled Imran's car. The former Premier's detention follows several unsuccessful attempts, including a police raid at his residence in Lahore. And now the former Prime Minister's Special Assistant and Coordinator Rauf Hassan is joining us to discuss the latest developments on that story. Good afternoon, Mr. Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this isn't the first time that Imran Khan is facing such a reaction by the Pakistan government. The police in Islamabad say he's been arrested in connection to a graft case. Now, what's the latest that we know on the situation so far?
First of all, a correction. He was not arrested on Monday. He has been arrested earlier today, actually this afternoon, a couple of hours ago.
Okay, thank you.
So, sir, my pleasure. He had gone to Islamabad. He travelled from Lahore to Islamabad this morning, to appear before a couple of courts. So he went to the first court, where he was given bail application in 7 fake cases, which have been registered, which are, out of 150 odd cases, which have been registered against him. Then he went to the Islamabad High Court to appear for another bail application, and there he was arrested from inside the court premises, which is a violation of the Constitution and rule of law in the country. We, of course, shall be approaching the court, whenever we possibly can. Sorry about this. So the reason cited, has been that, there's a graft case, of which we are still unaware. What is the nature of that graft case, But understandably, he was taken into custody, but not by the police, but by the paramilitary forces. The paramilitary forces are not under the not within the ambit of the government. They are controlled by the military forces, which consider that they are above the law. So we are still trying to ascertain the actual facts, with regard to his arrest, and once we've done so, the party shall announce the future program, that we are going to pursue. But just for your information, people in the hundreds of thousands are already out on the streets of the country all over, and they are protesting against his arrest, and we fear that, this number is going to increase. We actually know that this number is going to increase. So I hope that, before any violence occurs, the authorities think better of a very miscalculated move, that they have made.
Okay. So, as far as what you've said, the likelihood of these protests spiralling out of control is likely if something isn't done about Imran Khan's arrest, because we know that he has a strong public support, and we've seen these similar protests take place before. How soon do you think that the government will try to resolve the situation, or will the protests be enough to resolve the situation?
Well, the government has already imposed a state of emergency in Islamabad, the city where he was actually arrested, so the people are out on the streets already. There are reports of people in huge numbers appearing in various cities of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. There are reports of people appearing in huge numbers in Karachi and so many other cities in the province of Punjab. So we expect to know that this number is going to increase with the passage of time, because, as the news, filters across to all over the country, I think we expect a very large number of people coming out on the streets of the country. Khan has always been, fearing his arrest, before leaving for Islamabad today from Lahore. He recorded a message, in which he predicted that he's going to be arrested, and that, he may not be able to speak to the people, after this. So true to prediction, his own prediction, he was arrested in one of the multiple fake cases, which have been registered against him.
Okay, all right. Now, Imran Khan's main demand from the government is that early elections must be held in the country, but so far the government has been unwilling to accept his proposals. Why is that?
Because of the popularity, like you yourself have conceded, the popularity, by all appraisals, which have been made, his popularity rating stands at 75% plus. So the government is aware of the fact, that if they were to hold elections today, they would get a thrashing at the hustings, So they're not interested in holding elections now or any time in the future, until and unless, Khan has been neutralized. I am using the word knowingly neutralized, but because it could happen in multiple ways, and I hope that they don't resort to any physical violence. Although he was manhandled, at the time of his arrest, he was pushed and badly mishandled, So we expect, the worst. We are not very hopeful of a human level of understanding, with regard to dealing with arrested people. So all this news is going to filter out, which is going to further agitate the people. The elections are not going to be held, and I've been writing on this quite consistently, and our party has been taking this position that, they want to neutralize Khan. In fact, that is one of the demands of the criminal government, which has been inducted, after illegally and unconstitutionally removing Khan's government back in the early parts of last year. So we know that the elections are not going to be held, but we are fighting for elections. We shall continue to fight for elections, because without elections, without getting a government with mandate, people's mandate in power, it is impossible to control the grievous challenges that Pakistan faces, be those in the economic field, in the political field, and in so many other fields. Basically, the cost of living in the last 1 year, ever since this criminal government has been inducted, has gone up by over 100%. It's difficult for people to survive, to have 2 meals a day. So, the political agitation is going to also encompass this particular factor, of the increase in the normal increase in cost of living, So I feel that, I fear actually that a level of violence, may creep into these protests, and I hope the authorities, as I said earlier, think again about the step that they have taken, and they save the country from plunging into anarchy and chaos, which it can, because of the fault lines, which have been generated in the last 1 year since this criminal government was inducted.
Okay. Now, lastly, Mr. Hassan, Pakistan's political situation is extremely risky, with both the government and Imran Khan's party battling each other on all fronts. How are you analysing this situation, and can we see a sense of peace prevailing in the country anytime soon?
Well, we have done just about everything that was possible of a political party to strike a compromise, in this political negotiations, which were kind of advised by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, the highest judicial authority in Pakistan. We on the same day throughout the country. This was the government demand. We conceded to that, but we wanted the government to advance the date of dissolution of other assemblies, and the National Assembly, so that elections could be held sometime around July, August. While we were very flexible in conceding to the government demand of holding elections throughout the country on the same day, they were not at all flexible, and they stuck to their guns. And that is because of the reason that I've already cited. They know that they cannot hold elections because they're going to suffer a massive defeat. So in the absence of elections, this government is completing its legal tenure in August also. So in August, the assemblies have to be dissolved. But this government is creating a situation, of confrontation between the state institutions. The judiciary is today pitted against the parliament, and the parliament, which is a truncated parliament, because almost half of its members are absent because PTI is not allowed to sit there. It's a truncated parliament, and the government is using the power of the parliament to strike an agitation, with the judiciary. So the judiciary, the trichotomy of power, there are 3 power centers in Pakistan: the parliament, the judiciary, and the executive. So all these power centers are in a conflict situation with one another, and this does not augur well. This can just plunge the country into becoming a pariah state, where no other government and no other institution would be willing to deal with it. So it is in the interest of everybody in this country that early elections are held, and instead of resorting to arresting established leaders like Imran Khan, they are able to look inwards and see exactly where is it that they have gone wrong. And the ultimate objective should be the welfare of the country, and not to plunge it into an institutional chaos, into a conflict between institutions and a chaos on the roads of this country. There is far too many problems, that the people already have. So this is a very opportune time. This is a very conducive time for people to become restless, and to strike, to get into an agitational mood, which can turn extremely violent, and lead to loss of lives. And that, if a situation like that arises, let me show you that it will not even be possible for the leadership of PTI to control the people. Because when they are into that mold, then they have their own trajectory. They follow their own trajectory. They don't listen to leaderships in that case. And in any case, because of the absence of Khan, who's been arrested, there's a vacuum in the party leadership. Nobody else has the authority to command people the way Khan has. Other leaders, are of a lesser mettle, and it will not be possible for them to hold people back.
Okay.
This is my fear.
Mr. Rauf Khan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your insight and analysis.
Thank you. Very